The Seuna, Seuna or Yadavas of Devagiri was an Indian dynasty, which at its peak ruled a kingdom stretching from the Tungabhadra to the Narmada rivers, including present-day Maharashtra, North Karnataka and parts of Madhya Pradesh, from its capital at Devagiri. The Yadavas initially ruled as feudatories of the Western Chalukyas. Around the middle of the 12th century, as the Chalukya power waned, they declared independence and established rule that reached its peak under Singana II. Etymology. The Seuna dynasty claimed descent from the Yadavas and therefore, its kings are often referred to as the Yadavas of Devagiri. The correct name of the dynasty, however, is Seuna or Savuna. The inscriptions of this dynasty, as well as those of contemporary kingdoms, the Hoysala, Kakatiya dynasty and Western Chalukyas, call them Seunas. The name is probably derived from the name of their second ruler, Seuna Chandra. The Savuna name was brought back into use by John Faithfulfleet in his book The Dynasties of the Canaries Districts of the Bombay Presidency. From the earliest historical times to the Musalman conquest of AD 1318. Origin. Scholars are divided regarding the origin of the Seuna dynasty. Yadavanshi origin. The Seuna dynasty claimed descent from the Chandravanshi of North India. According to verse 21 of Ratikand, the Seunas were originally from Mathura and later moved to Dwaraka. Hemdari calls them Krishna Kulatpana. The Marathi saint Dnyaneshwar describes them as Yajikal Vanshtilik. Some Seuna inscriptions call them Varavashapura Dishvaras. Several modern researchers, such as Dr. Kolakar, also believe that Yadavas came from North India. The remains of Kandashir, popularly believed to be of Gaulai Raj, which archaeologically belongs to the Yadavas of Devagiri. For this reason, the historian Reginald Edward Enthoven believed that the Yadavas of Devagiri could have been Abaris. There is a belief that Dio or Dulatabad was built in AD 1203 by a Danga or herdsman who, acquiring by some unusual good fortune vast wealth, was named by his brother shepherds Raja Ram and soon after assumed the rank of a Raja. Maratha origin. According to scholars such as Professor George Morris, K. Rajwade, V. Vaidya, Dr. A.S. Altekar, Dr. D.R. Bandakar, and J. Duncan M. Derrett, the Seuna rulers were of Maratha descent who patronized the Marathi language. Digambar Krishna Mokashi noted that the Yadava dynasty was what seems to be the first true Maratha empire. In his book Medieval India, C.V. Vaidya states that Yadavas are definitely pure Maratha Kshatriyas. A stone inscription found at Anjaneri, near Nashik, suggests that a minor branch of the Yadava family ruled a small district, with Anjaneri as its chief city. The inscription indicates that a ruler called Seunadava, belonging to the Yadava family, called himself Mahasamanta and made a grant to a Jain temple. Scholars such as Dr. O.P. Varmuth state that Yadavas were Marathi speakers and the period of their rule was very important for the history of the Marathi. Jiabe belonged to the clan of Jadavas of Sindhkad Raja, who also claimed descent from the Yadavis. Karnataka origin. Scholars such as C.M. Kilkarni, Colin Massacre, and Srinivas Reti believe that the Seuna rulers were originally Kannada-speaking people. Linguist Colin Massacre believes that they originally used Kannada in their inscriptions, but, by the time of the Muslim conquest, they had begun to patronize Marathi, and Marathi phrases or lines began to appear in their inscriptions. Dr. Srinivas Reti speculates that the Seunas were originally from a Kannada-speaking region and migrated northwards owing to the political situation in the Deccan. Many Seuna rulers had Kannada names and titles such as Dadiyappa, Balamath, Rajugi, Vajagi, and Vasugi, and Kaliyabolala. Some kings had names like Singana and Malugi, which were also used by the southern Kalashuras dynasty. Records show that one of the early rulers, Seuna Chandra II, had a Kannada title, Selavidega. The Seunas had very close matrimonial relationships with royal Kannada families throughout their rule. Balama II was married to Lakchiyav, who was from a Rashtrakuta descendant family in Karnataka. Vadiga was married to Vadiyav, daughter of Rashtrakuta chieftain Dorapa. Wives of Asugi and Balama III were Chalukya princess. Over 500 inscriptions belonging to the Seuna dynasty have been found in Karnataka, the oldest being of the rule of Balama II. Most of these are in Kannada language and script. Others are in the Kannada language but use Devanagari script. The Seuna coins from the early part of their rule have Kannada legends. Scholars such as Dr. O.P. Varma believe that Kannada was a court language, used along with Marathi and Sanskrit. During the rule of the Seunas, ruling chieftains who were related to the Seuna kings were from Kannada-speaking families, like the Seunas of Masavadi and present-day Dharwad. Dr. A.V. Narasimha Murthy opined that during the later part of the Rashtrakuta rule from Manyakota, Seuna chieftains were dispatched from the Karnataka region to rule near Nashik. History. Feudatory Seunas were once the feudatories of the Rashtrakutas and then of the Western Chalukyas. The founder of the Seuna dynasty was Dhridaprahara, the son of Subahu. According to Vratakanda, his capital was Srinagara. However, an early inscription suggests that Chandradityapura was the capital. The name Seuna comes from Dhridaprahara's son, Seuna Chandra, who originally ruled a region called Seunadashore. Balama II, a later ruler in the dynasty, assisted Talapa III in his war with the Paramara king Munja. Seuna Chandra II helped Vikramaditya VI in gaining his throne. Balama V, son of Malugi, established the sovereign Seuna kingdom. He took over the Chalukya capital of Kalyani in 1190 and founded Davagiri as the capital of the Yadava dynasty. The Seunas were bordered by aggressive neighbors on all sides. Paramara rulers of Malwa in the north, Kakatiya dynasty in the east, Hoysalas in the south and Solanki rulers of Gujarat in the west. As a precaution, they built their citadel at Davagiri. The citadel was situated on a hill rising 183 meters. The hill was enclosed by 3 lines of walls, each of which was defended by moats and turrets. The outermost wall had a circumference of 4.4 kilometers. Singana II, or Simana, 1200 to 1247 CE, is considered the greatest ruler of the Yadava dynasty. During his rule the kingdom expanded from Narmada to Tungabhadra, reaching its zenith at the expense of Hoysalas in the south, Kakatiya dynasty in the east, Paramarat and Chalukyas in the north. He founded the town Shinghanapa. He was a great patron of learning and literature. He established the College of Astronomy to study the work of celebrated astronomer Bhaskaracharya. The Sangita Ratnakara, an authoritative Sanskrit work on Indian music, was written by Yadava during Singana II's reign. He also patronized Changadeva, the Kannada poet Kamalabhava. Ramachandra, the grandson of Singana II, ruled from 1271 to 1309 CE. He seems to have defeated the Turkic invaders in 1278 CE, as a Sanskrit royal inscription of that year glorifies him as a great boy in securing the earth from the oppression of the Turks. Hemadri was Ramachandra's Shrikaranadipa during the initial few years. He compiled the encyclopedic Sanskrit work Chaturvarga Chintamani. He is said to have built many temples in a style known after him, Hemadipanti. He also invented the Modi script for writing Marathi. Hemadri wrote many books on Vaidyak Shastra and he introduced and supported Bajra cultivation. In 1294, Alauddin Khilji of the Delhi Sultanate captured Davagiri. Khilji restored it to Ramachandra in return for his promise of payment of a high ransom and an annual tribute. However, this was not paid and the Seuna kingdom's arrears to Khilji kept mounting. In 1307, Khilji sent an army commanded by Malik Kafur, accompanied by Khwaja Haji, to Divagiri. The Muslim governors of Malwa and Gujarat were ordered to help Malik Kafur. Their huge army conquered the weakened and defeated forces of Divagiri almost without a battle. Ramachandra was taken to Delhi. Khilji reinstated Ramachandra as governor in return for a promise to help him subdue the Hindu kingdoms in South India. In 1310, Malik Kafur mounted an assault on the Kakatiya kingdom from Divagiri. Fall of the kingdom. Ramachandra's successor Singana III challenged the supremacy of Khilji, who sent Malik Kafur to recapture Divagiri in 1313. Singana III was killed in the ensuing battle and Khilji's army occupied Divagiri. The kingdom was annexed by the Khilji Sultanate in 1317. Many years later, Muhammad Tughlaq of the Tughlaq dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate subsequently renamed the city Daulatabad. The Seuna Yadava rulers. Among the Seuna Yadava rulers, Sindhan, Krishnadev, Mahadeva and Ramdev are considered as having been able feudatory of western Chalukyas of Kalyani Dridapahara. Seuna Chandra 850–874 CE. Dadyapa 874–900 CE. Bala I 900–925 CE. Vajagi 950–974 CE. Dadyapa II 974–975 CE. Balama II 975–1005 CE, helped Western Chalukya king Talapa II in battle against Paramara king Munja. Vasugi I 1005–1020 CE. Balama III 1020–1055 CE, ruled Nisina, Nashik, helped Chalukya Samshvara against Paramaras. Vasugi II 1055–1068 CE. Balama III 1068 CE. Seuna Chandra II 1068–1085 CE, overcame civil war, defeated Balama IV to become king. Aramadeva 1085–1115 CE. Singana I 1115–1145 CE. Malugi I 1145–1150 CE, beginning period of internal family feud which lasted until 1173. Amaragang Ayar 1150–1160 CE. Govindaraja 1160 CE. Amara Malugi II 1160–1165 CE. Kalia Balala 1165–1173 CE. Independent Kingdom Bala V 1173–1192 CE. Jatugi I 1192–1200 CE. Sinana II 1200–1247 CE. Kannada 1247–1261 CE. Mahadeva 1261–1271 CE. Amana 1271 CE. Ramachandra 1271–1311 CE. Tributary status under Khilji dynasty Singana III 1311–1313 CE. Harapaladeva 1313–1317 CE. Literature. Marathi. The Yadavas of Divagiri patronized Marathi, which was their court language. Kannada may also have been a court language during Seuna Chandra's rule, but Marathi was the only court language of Ramchandra and Mahadeva Yadavis. The Yadava capital Divagiri became a magnet for learned scholars in Marathi to showcase and find patronage for their skills. The origin and growth of Marathi literature is directly linked with rise of Yadava dynasty. Their reign also saw the literary development of Marathi. The origin and growth of Marathi literature is directly linked to this period. Some historians believe that prior to the Yadava rule, both Marathi and Kannada had been used in Maharashtra. Subsequently, at least partly due to their efforts, Marathi became dominant. Historian Jose Pereira has credited Yadavas with overthrowing the rule of Kannada-speaking dynasties in Maharashtra. Balama V's son, Jaitrapal had Makandaraja, the author of Paramamrita and Viveka Sindhu, as his spiritual teacher. Paramamrita is considered the first systematic attempt to explain the Vedantic principles in Marathi. Viveka Sindhu is another exposition of Vedantic principles. Makandaraja's earliest works were completed in 1190 CE, and Mahimabhata wrote Lila Charita in 1238. The famous Marathi saint poet Dnyaneshwar wrote Dnyaneshwari, a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, in 1290, during Ramachandra's rule. He also composed devotional songs called Abhangas. Dnyaneshwar gave a higher status to Marathi by translating the sacred Gita from Sanskrit. He proudly said about Marathi, which means I will speak my Marathi only with pride, and I will give such Marathi words to the ardent listeners which will even win bets against the nectar. Hemadri invented the Modi script during this period. Chakradhara propagated the Mahanubhava cult, using Marathi as the medium for his religious teachings. The work of his followers are counted among the first works of Marathi literature. Kannada. Many scholars believe Kannada was one of the court languages during early Seuna times, as is evident from a number of Kannada language inscriptions. Kamalabhava, patronized by Balama V, wrote Santheshwara Purana. Achana composed Varadhamana Purana in 1198. Amujadeva, patronized by Singana II, composed many vachanas or devotional songs. Chaundarasar of Pandarapur wrote Dashakamara Charita around 1300 AD. Sanskrit. The Sanskrit literary works created during the Seuna period include Chatur Varga Chintamani by Hemadri, Suktimadhavali by Jalhana, Hamiramadana by Jayasimhasari, Karnaku Tuhala and Siddhanta Shiromani by Bhaskaracharya, Anantadeva's commentaries on Varahamihira's Brihadataka and Brahmagupta's Brihatsputa Siddhanta, Harapaladeva's Sangita Siddhakara, a treatise on Indian classical music, which bifurcates Indian classical music as Hindustani music and Carnatic music for the first time, acknowledging the Muslim influence on Indian music.